With a news update on WHTC Highlands Cool FM, I'm Gary Stevens. Canadian wildfire smoke is thick enough to be very unhealthy in Michigan's western Upper Peninsula and unhealthy for sensitive groups in the eastern Upper Peninsula and the entire Lower Peninsula, including the lakeshore. There are over 800 wildfires burning in Canada right now, impacting over 2.3 million acres. Minnesota and New York have also issued air quality alerts and warnings, and the Mackinac Bridge was completely obscured by the wildfire smoke yesterday afternoon. Forecasters say it may be until the weekend before the smoke dissipates. The state of Michigan now has 3,762 confirmed cases of cyclosporasis. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services says most of the cases are in southeast Michigan, but the disease has spread to most of the state. Restaurants are making menu changes, and as lettuce and salad greens are being eyed as the source. Cyclosporasis is an intestinal illness caused by a parasite that results in sudden and explosive diarrhea. Now, cyclosporiasis may not have come to Ottawa County yet, but its first rabies-positive bat has been spotted. Yesterday, Department of Public Health officials announced that such a flying animal had tested positive after being taken to a state lab. No mention was made as to the circumstances which led to having the bat tested. No human cases have been reported thus far. There were 2 rabbit animals reported in the county last year. This is the 22nd animal in Michigan to have a confirmed case of rabies thus far in 2026. The OCDPH used the announcement to caution the public about rabies, and the online link to such information from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta is in this story at WHTC.com. A 24-year-old Allendale man was hospitalized following a crash late last night east of Robinson. According to the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office, that motorist was southbound on 104th Avenue around 10 p.m. and had passed several vehicles before slowing down just past Buchanan Street and trying to pull off towards the shoulder of the roadway. However, a pickup truck attempted to pass the sedan, collided with it instead, causing the passenger vehicle to roll over several times. The motorist, who was unbuckled, was ejected in the process. That man was taken to an undisclosed area hospital with serious injuries, while the pickup driver, a 20-year-old Twin Lake man, along with his passenger, a 20-year-old Allendale woman, were not hurt. It took first responders about 3 hours to handle the situation and reopen the roadway. The incident remains under investigation. 2 persons were hospitalized following a 5-vehicle pileup east of Coopersville yesterday morning. According to the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office, a 22-year-old pawpaw man driving a westbound pickup truck with an enclosed trailer on I-96 near the 48th Avenue overpass apparently failed to recognize traffic ahead slowing down due to a construction zone in which a lane was closed. His vehicle subsequently plowed into several other vehicles, and he and another unspecified motorist had to be taken to local hospitals for treatment of serious but non-life-threatening injuries. No names were disclosed. Westbound I-96 had to be blocked off for about an hour to deal with the incident, which remains under investigation. It may have been 2.5 months on the calendar and several degrees warmer since Holland's annual signature event ended, but a major part of the 2027 Tulip Time Festival was addressed last night in a very brief business meeting taking less than 20 minutes. The Holland City Council approved through the consent agenda a contract with Unex for the purchase of 736,000 tulip bulbs, which will be imported from the Netherlands for planting this fall. A majority of the bulbs will go towards the city's Parks Department, 177,500 designated for Windmill Island Gardens, and 10,000 for the festival. It will compensate the city, though, at a cost of $2,600. Unex's bid was $250 higher than last year, when a variety of factors led to a 40% price hike. It was about $6,000 less than a competing bid from Netherland Bulb Company. City Manager Keith Van Beek says that this is a good municipal investment.
While the city doesn't really monetize that in a way other than that Windmill Island Garden, that you can draw a direct, bright line, right, from million visitors to money in the city budget, it's definitely good for businesses and entities in the city.
The 97th Tulip Time Festival begins its 10-day run next April 30th. An update on an ongoing effort to clean up the McIntyre watershed should be presented this evening. During the Holland Charter Township Board meeting, ODC Network CEO Travis Williams will be asking the municipality for a $50,000 annual commitment over a 5-year period, which will go towards a $7.65 million public-private initiative to continue this decade-plus long work.
Phase 3 is going to have us doing some deeper implementation work in the watershed, and so we'll be excited excited to share kind of some of those details. We're wrapping up some studies that are going to help inform exactly how that rolls out here.
The board will also go over ordinance amendments concerning the keeping of chickens in residential areas for personal purposes, as well as voting to approve a proposed 6-year capital improvement plan through 2032. The Holland Township Board 7 p.m. business meetings at the township offices off of 120th Avenue. A vacancy on the Laketown Township Parks Commission board was filled on Tuesday night. In a special meeting, the municipality's overall Board of Trustees unanimously voted to have Dale Burkett complete the remaining 2.5 years of the term of Sherry Serco, who resigned last month. Treasurer Jim Johnson's sentiments echoed that of his fellow trustees.
Dale's got an unbelievable background in working in the environment, and I think he would be, and all his various certifications and everything else related to leadership and project management and all that.
Burkett, a retired Sea Lamprey program director with the Great Lakes Fishery Commission, was chosen ahead of Joe Rickabus, who was invited to continue pursuing other opportunities for township service. Burkett was sworn in after the vote and participated in last night's monthly Parks Commission meeting. The city of Kalamazoo will send inspectors to Lilac Hills Apartments in Ashtimo Township after tenants there complained about mold, cockroaches, and appliances not being fixed.
Garbage is also overflowing in several dumpsters. Some apartments are missing cabinets in the kitchen. One tenant, Andrew Riddle, says he and his family have lived there for the past year, and their tap water is brown, the bathtub doesn't drain, and there's black mold in the tub. A third-party company called Legacy LLC took over management in April. Maintenance worker there says he has a pile of 60 service requests that he's trying to get through. I'm Michael Arning.
The Road Commission of Kalamazoo County says it will remove 4,000 roadside trees instead of the planned 8,000. Reduction comes after widespread pushback from residents to the federally funded Road Safety Initiative. Public Relations Director Mark Worden said the commission listened to the concerns of the residents and modified the scope. Road Commission will be removing 4,000 trees within 33 feet of the center line on certain county roads to create clear zones, giving drivers extra recovery space if they happen to drive off of the roadway. Project will start in October. A no-contact order issued for Davis Creek in Kalamazoo has been lifted. The Kalamazoo Department of Public Services issued the order on July 6th after a sewage overflow from a blockage in sewer pipes briefly flooded Miller Road. The blockage was cleared by crews within 2 hours, but the no-contact order wasn't lifted until yesterday. 10,000 gallons of wastewater overflowed into the creek, which feeds into the Kalamazoo River. The State Department of Natural Resources and the Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy have improved permits for Enbridge Energy's Great Lakes Tunnel under the Straits of Mackinac. The company wants to install the tunnel to bury their twin oil and natural gas pipelines that have been on the lakebed for the last 73 years. Eagle officials say they spent over a year on an extensive review, including considering over 70,000 public comments. More permits from the Michigan Public Service Commission and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers still need to be obtained. Governor Whitmer and Attorney General Nessel have been trying to halt the project since they took office, but have yet to be successful. Meanwhile, the governor is calling on data center companies to agree to the Michigan Affordability and Responsible Growth Pledge, would require their operations to not increase electric bills for residential and small business customers, and to use technologies to minimize water use. Whitmer suffered backlash from her support of the controversial Stargate data center in Washtenaw County after attending its groundbreaking earlier this summer. The 38 buildings owned by the state of Michigan were able to save $8.2 million in energy costs in 2025, according to the State Department of Technology Management and Budget. Department officials say this is due to energy reduction and clean energy programs. Building Operations Division says lighting fixtures have been converted to LED. Smart metering technology is used to track energy use at each building, and energy audits are being conducted to identify and fix issues. Red Wings say Steve Yzerman's time as Executive Vice President and General Manager is over. He'll stay with the NHL team as Senior Advisor to Governor and CEO Chris Ilitch. The Wings are now searching for a new GM. Yzerman was hired in 2019 to try to resurrect the franchise that he had starred with for 22 seasons and to have his jersey retired in the process, but Detroit has missed the playoffs for the last 10 campaigns. Baseball resumes regular season action tomorrow evening as Kevin McGonigal and the Detroit Tigers will face the Los Angeles Angels in Anaheim.
Going into the season, being a rookie, just trying to do my job, my part for the team, and whatever that was, coming in not knowing how much I was going to play or what position I was going to play. So just trying to, do whatever I was told and make sure, I was available for whenever Skip needed me. So I think that's, the best mindset I could have had coming into my rookie season.
Broadcast time is at 9:10 p.m. on WHTC Holland's Cool FM. In addition, the Cubs host the Minnesota Twins at Wrigley Field in Chicago. The Chicago White Sox take on the Blue Jays in Toronto. And the West Michigan Whitecaps play the Great Lakes Loons in Midland. Get the latest news anytime at WHTC.com.